1 Act salute to the brothers in India and salute to the brothers in the heroic Indian Army. Of course, this is meant for you. Frankly, I know that there are many of my brothers' countries and their heroic armies and their security forces have been exposed to such a topic. Of course, the reason for publishing such a topic is only the detection lies. I know of the devil who is behind such tricks and dirty like him. He is a terrorist demon in Iraq who entered his Church of the Bible and made himself a prophet, and after this he will send the elements of his terrorist network to America and the countries of Europe and be friends of these countries, and, of course, India is one, and this Satan is taking advantage of the church, homosexuals and morally degenerate ones. Before talking about the details of this subject, I would like to reveal something to you, which is that there is an organization similar to its kind in the movie Destroyer, which was established for the purpose of seeking help from it with a good thing, but it turned into a virus and became the danger. Rather, it became like a person with an infectious disease, but instead of he is quarantined or isolated from others. He kept hiding his affliction with such a disease and went to this and that, and the purpose is to spread the disease. Here the same thing happened when they gave a filthy person in Iraq credit and trust in order to open a branch in Iraq. Of course, these people do not have any experience, and as if they were a person who lived in an underground tunnel for 1,000 years and appeared without knowing anything. They did not ask for any information about the person who gave him a position in Iraq. I mean, if they asked for help from the coalition countries in knowing information about him, he would not. The disaster happened. On the contrary, they were deceived by a demon who is not found with any religion. Rather, he is a terrorist who has a terror network, and he is the one who was attacking the forces at international forces in Iraq, and people are inciting against them. I mean, he was made the director of the Iraq branch and they gave him confidence, and then this bastard became a manager over them. Thus, this organization turned into an epidemic. Of course, this devil does not care about what the Christians will experience from behind the dirty tricks, because as I said, he has no religion, but a liar and a terrorist who made himself a prophet in Iraq. After this, he began to implement evil plans against the countries that I mentioned to you. Of course, I will not talk about it, but I will only talk about one thing, and it is the simplest. I will take an example for you of a foolish person in India. He was hunted in the church and was made a scapegoat of the body of Satan. Of course, this method is well known, and there are thousands of Iraq who fell in exactly the same way, but a completely true copy of what is happening in Iraq. Of course, this stupid victim was caught, perhaps in exchange for some sweets or food scraps and some small money. They made him believe that the Spirit of God had entered his body, or that he had become a person with authority, and this is the same way in Iraq. The family of the victim and their friends are also made with the gang. Then they make the foolish victim, who does not understand anything, that he believes has obtained authority from God, or the Holy Spirit entered his body and he has authority, or something similar to the organization God that does not know who they are and who finances them and what laws they work with. Also the game is something similar to that. It is a treasure obtained, and there are conditions that he must abide by, for example, that he works voluntarily and is not allowed to take any money from it or work his way love and hate. Of course, the game here is that there is a demon who will put his brain control chip on him, and this demon is the real leader of the gang, and he is from 3. He does everything. I mean, he registers members of the gang, gives them positions, money and property, gives them orders, and chooses leaders for them, but he claims that everything he does is on the orders of this stupid victim who does not know that he has fallen into a trap. This is not a sacred organization, and this is what he believes is the Spirit of God, who came with him and heard what he says, is only a devil, not a guardian angel, a secretary or a deputy, but not even a friend of him in India. He had. Also, this gang has professional cutters with all kinds of lies, fraud, and exploitation of the internet, especially for Seedwick and others, so that they can deceive the victim and make him suffer something similar to schizophrenia, or think that it has become an important thing and then begin to act according to such a new situation. Of course, the purpose of this is for their plan to succeed in making the victim become a scapegoat for their real disappeared leader. Of course, the victim, as I said, is just a body only. or something like a camera placed on a pole, and this pillar is the victim of a foolish choice, which is similar to the end of days when Satan comes to enter the body of Kepriel and then the devil and lets his gan, but others will think that he is Kepriel because Satan uses the body of this one. Here is the same game. This demon who spies on the victim is the one who has a gan, and he is the one who leads them with what he wants only. But he invented tricks and made laws out of them. For example, when the victim eats anything or drinks, it means such a stupid victim, so he's a donkey that devours the hurts he finds for it. For that, he does not know that whoever thinks that he is his guardian angel will start to give orders or record items also when he goes to drink water, also when he looks at something, hears, takes something, or chats with others with empty words or heard somewhere, or the victim takes any item from others, or he may bet for some money that is not enough to buy clothes for him even etc. All these are made either as orders or registration of items or other. Also, as I said, the victim's family is always with the gang and also the victim's friend or whoever knows them. The same is the case for any other organization in which there is a manager who gives orders in it, and he knows that he gave orders and knows who gave such orders and also knows the details of the financial in them and the laws in them so that he can change the laws or change the secretary or this spy who falsely claims to be his guard, imitates his actions or carries out all of him. In this case, the evil will be less, but this organization is beyond any authority of the victim over it. The other game is when the role of the victim of choice ends and the devil wants to change the donkey he has here, complains that the choice victim stuck. Because he will collide with a gang attacking him and he does not know why. Is it because he ate some herbs and food scraps and took old clothes, or because he lives in his family's house? This is the truth. He does not have anything. Or he thinks that they want to make him against God. While the game is that the victim in the eyes of others is a person who has money, position and organization, and those who are against him are competing with him for the position and the money that he has or properties. Of course, they play with him a game of blocking all roads and opening a road. 6. To gather his followers in order to confront the gang with it, and play with him a game of extinguishing electricity or fire in drones. Of course, this stupid victim will go such a wrong way in order to save himself from the constant attack of gangs against him. He forgets that he is a completely bankrupt person who does not have any money for himself, so how can he pay people who collect them to become his followers or a team with him? Also the people he knows he asks for them some help, then how will he become a manager over them, and they are the one who throws him some food and old clothes, or simple money that will not benefit anything. Of course, the victim is a stupid person because these are also in the same gang and work with the same law and their record are with the gang and they are not his followers at all and they do not take any orders from him at all. Note this game and its goal is to give legitimacy to get rid of the victim so that he is made to lose in a just war or fair competition between two groups or two people, both of whom have a horse, entering a race and one of them loses, while the truth is that the victim does not have any horse or mule, but rather runs on his feet only. The lie is that he has a horse, or he has to choose a horse to have him at his disposal only. This is impossible because he does not have any money to buy a donkey's tail. This is the truth. 7. This is the truth of this organization. It is a devil game. As for the victims of choice, they are just a scapegoat for fools or poor people who do not understand anything. Of course, the way in which the gang operates is through intelligence and blades and not openly, and this is because their leadership in Iraq is a demon who made himself a prophet who is an officer intelligence, and he has a terror network. Here this stupid victim came to the church and he was hunted there. It means that the army in the country of India has no relationship with this at all. Also those who rule India are very good people and God is with them, and they do not need a victim choosing a fool of a donkey who does not understand anything, or he knows the unseen at all, but does not even know that he is a donkey, and he does not even know what is the difference between the destiny of God and the destiny of humans. Of course, this terrorist network exploits this way. Of course, all friends of America and the countries of Europe love these countries and love every citizen of them. But everyone became a target for this kind of organization, which was controlled by a virus in Iraq. I also say that India and its army are right, and they are a very good thing. As for this victim of choice, he is either stupid to the point of drowning out donkeys, or that the gang made him, directly or indirectly, speak false words. I mean, I personally sent him a message and told him that there are thousands of cases in Iraq that are a true copy of his case. I also told him that they are a terrorist network targeting all European and American countries and their friends. They are led by a terrorist in Iraq who made himself a prophet. He stole Iraq's money and started financing everything sabotage against those countries. It means making the law weak and spreading hatred and mistrust. Of course, beware of this devil who made himself a prophet in Iraq, or the voice of God. 8. Beware of believing him with anything he and his organization in Iraq. Beware that one of you is deceived that God made Iraq a sacred land and installed it as a prophet on it, or that he has created an organization that resembles secretly United Nations, and every country must have someone to represent them in it, and if he does not, he will solve problems on him. Beware absolutely not to make any of them represent you. Of course, you will find a trick that resembles that this devil has a supermarket and everything you want you will find in it. Whoever accepts to represent them, or you find something that resembles two people or two groups, one of them is evil and the other is good, and you are made to choose one of them to represent you. Also, the same thing, if it came to an enemy to America and the countries of Europe and their friends as well, the same will be presented to them. And also they make a group that represents them. Here the advice is not to fall into a trap. They are both evil and both devil horns. As long as this devil is the one who leads in Iraq, then everything in it is corrupt and evil. Even those who make them claim that they are good, these lie. They will turn into an enemy quickly. Also, India will not benefit in any way from those who will make themselves represent it. The reason is that India is a friend to America and the countries of Europe, so there is no trade or cooperation with it in any way. But only harm will come from them into India itself, because those who have been adopted will come to India. They will transfer the virus, the model, the good and bad game, or the old and young rival, this game. Number 99. It is one of Satan's tricks, the old and the young, both of whom are the ones who also lead them in the game of good and bad as well. Of course, the anointed brothers in India were supposed to imitate people from America and European countries, and not a terrorist devil in Iraq, who did not understand anything about God. He does not respect the sanctity of a matter like this at all. So, see what he does with the victims and how he uses a very sophisticated model of weapons to control the brain and implantation cirrhosis. It also plays on people and women's awareness. Of course, this devil, unfortunately, is the one who leads Iraq and is the source of the decision in it. Therefore, we will not find a side that can punish him in Iraq. It is the one who punishes anyone who responds. But in the countries of Europe and America and their friends, this is not the case. Rather, he uses the method of striking and disappearance, which is not the law, not the armies of these brothers, but merely the cells of a terrorist network that conceals itself.
Do they find these idiots? Is there like just a place where idiots hang out and you can just go up to them like, hey, would you do this for me? Would you do that for me? Would you go annoy somebody for me? Would you do something that is morally wrong for me?
With your relationships as well, they're gonna try and get as much information as possible from your friends as well. They're going to try and talk about your church. They might whisper into your ear that your church doesn't want you anymore because we know what you did sort of 2 months back. We know that you did something unpleasant, that sort of thing. So this is family as well, family and friends. It's going to be very hard for them. They might actually be used as part of the army or the forces that are trying to destroy your life. You don't need to be that suspicious, but just be aware.